You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast, here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Thad, and joining me is my co-host, Chrissie. How are you today?
I am not doing too badly. I am watching out for some really interesting animal activity outside, and we'll talk about that later, I think. But
is there a space orgy?
Yeah, I think there is. I think there is.
Nice.
I'm not terribly enthused, because they appear to be feeding off the hull, you know. So, we'll see. How are you doing?
I'm alright. Just cleared from, destroying an alien planet, so that's
good.
Positive.
That's good. That helps.
Alright, and also joined with us today is Kyle Wagner from Union Federation. Kyle, how are you today?
I am doing great. It's great to be here on Infinite Diversity. I have been kind of doing space exploration swap, because we have been covering the Orville over on Union Federation, and now I'm back here covering something on the Federation. Do you think they mind that I borrowed that ship out of dry dock?
I'm going to be fine. We'll be fine.
Okay. I just want to...
Just get somebody to sign off on it.
Okay, I can find some old transporter tech or something. I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't want to go too far since it doesn't have a hull, but, sure.
Hey, why not? Live dangerously. That's the way I feel. Live like you're on the lower decks.
Yeah.
All right. Before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly our associate producers like Chrissie here and Justin Oser. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our associate producers for a monthly subscription of just $10 at patreon.com/BQN. And with a monthly Patreon subscription of just $5, you can join our Meetings of the Hive Mind on the second Saturday of every month. Watch your Patreon messages for details. Okay, so it's been like 6 weeks, but we finally have new Star Trek again.
Yay!
And it's Star Trek Lower Decks, which is one of my favorite Star Trek shows. And personally, I think this episode did not disappoint. I was happy to see the crew back, and the season seems to be off to an excellent, humorous start. Kyle, what did you think of this week's episode?
I absolutely loved it. It's kind of interesting because I was just on All Good Things talking about the original season 1 first episode with Mark. So this is kind of a great refresher to getting into this. So I kind of had an interesting perspective just seeing that. It's so interesting to see how the characters have evolved since their introduction in season 1. But this episode, it just shows me how far Lower Decks has changed and evolved, and I thought this episode was just so much fun, and it went places I wasn't expecting Lower Decks to be going, and I was so happy they did.
Yeah, I think in addition to the characters, because the characters definitely have evolved, obviously, over the course of the past 2 seasons, but I think, especially because I rewatched the whole series in preparation for season 3, and I think especially if you look at the art from season 1 to season 2, the characters are more detailed, the ships, everything in space, like the models in space, are way more detailed in season 3. They were in season 2, too, but they've been tweaked a little bit more for season 3. But compared to season 1, they're all way more detailed and look amazing.
Agreed.
I definitely agree with that. I think that's one of the big things with Lower Decks, is it feels like, because they have a little bit more faith in it, they upped its budget and ability from season 2, and they're just running with it now. And I'm gonna be honest with you, outside of Strange New Worlds, it's my favorite Trek right now.
Yeah, Kyle, I think there's some similarities here with upgraded effects budget for season 3 for this as on your podcast on the Orville, because they got a huge bump in effects budget for season 3.
Oh yeah, that is for certain.
Yeah.
Disney went, here's some mouse money. We found it in our couch. You guys can have it.
Hopefully they'll renew it for season 4. All right, Chrissie, what do you think this week?
Oh, I was just so glad for it to be back. I really liked it. I liked how the storyline with Freeman fell out. I was kind of expecting that to go for a couple of episodes of them trying to rescue her, but then the whole idea that it was a badly done, spoilers right away, listeners, but you know that it was a badly done pack-led plot makes perfect sense. So of course it wouldn't take more than one episode to figure that out. You know. And I do love...
You had the theory based on the episode title, I think, which was a decent theory, because next week's is going to be called The Least Dangerous Game, which does kind of make it sound like it might be a pack-led episode, so I can understand where you were coming from with that.
Yeah. All right, I'll take that. But it was great. I was glad to see him back.
I loved seeing everything. I like that we resolved it. Because I was definitely hoping that we weren't going to drag this on throughout the season, because part of Lower Decks' whole deal is that it is a riff and an homage to Star Trek of the 90s, and we didn't have season-long arcs on Star Trek in the 90s. So,
well, you kind of mentioned it. This is a perfect way to do Lower Decks. They leave it on a huge cliffhanger, so we're expecting something really major, and they just kind of have the story with Mariner on screen, but all the big stuff actually happens off screen. That's just typical Lower Decks.
I didn't even think of that way. Yeah, of course it is. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And because we're just following our Lower Decks crew, waiting for them to, hoping that they'll be able to figure something out, and things go awry, and it looks like they're not going to accomplish anything, and turns out they didn't need to. They could have just stayed at Cisco's Creole Kitchen using Ketracel White Hot, or eating churros at First Contact Land. But let's talk about this episode, because it was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
So there were tons of Easter eggs, as always, for Lower Decks. I'm sure some people noticed that we had quite a few little tidbits in the crawl on the news report. I definitely noticed the London Kings. I did not notice, but saw on Twitter the reference to the musician who was thawed out in the neutral zone, the TNG episode.
Yes!
I thought that was amazing, and just such a deep cut.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful. That was one, because I watched this with Jay and with my sister and her boyfriend, and after the episode was over, she stopped and went back, and she's like, okay, I have to see everything that's on the crawl, and we caught all of it, except I'm like, who's Sonny Clemens? It sounds familiar. Who's Sonny Clemens? And of course, thank you, Memory Alpha, pulled it up, and like that, I mean, talk about deep cut, but absolutely perfectly done.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have to be honest here. When it comes to the crawl, I really didn't pay attention to it in the first place, because I was so stunned by like a Starfleet news channel or a news report. I mean, that whole concept, I'm like, I'm not expecting that for Star Trek. And I love the fact that, but when you think about it and you think, okay, they're on Earth. I'm sure they have to have something like this, because being on Earth, but it's not something you think about. And it's like, here's Lower Decks pulling something absolutely obscure, and making it, oh yeah, they have this. And it's like, it took me a good minute to go, wait a minute, what's going on here? My mind didn't want to process this aspect of like the Starfleet universe.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're sitting there and you're like, oh, wait, we've known about this because of Jake and the Federation News Service, but we never thought of it looking like CNN.
Yeah, it was great. I just continued spoof on everything. I like Mariner destroying the TV.
Yes.
And then... So, I have a question about that scene, though. So, we have Mariner talking to her dad, and her dad's saying, be patient, Starfleet will figure everything out. The subtitles credit her dad as Admiral Freeman, which begs the question, where does Mariner's last name come from, if both her mother and her father are named Freeman?
I assume that was her mother's maiden name.
That's my thinking, too.
Okay, that's possible.
Or the Admiral took... excuse me, or it's the Admiral's name and he took Freeman when they got married.
That's also possible. The one thing that I also considered was that it's possible that Mariner didn't want to be, because of how big a deal, and she didn't want anyone to find out the captain was her mother, it's possible Mariner changed her last name so that she wouldn't be associated with them.
Yeah, I think that's a very
that would make
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how different might Tom Paris's life had been if he'd changed his name. You know,
if he kept
Locarno.
his name Nick Locarno.
Yeah.
Nick Locarno needs to show up on Lower Decks.
I did want to bring up, too, I loved seeing Mariner's interaction with her father. To see that she's not different between her mother and her father. She's the same way. Because that was always a little bit of the early impression I got, was Mariner was different with her father than she was with her mother. And to see her still, that she just maintains that same thing. Obviously, she's not a fan of plant life, or she's one of Best Buy's favorite customers because she just breaks screens on a regular basis.
Yeah. You know, there's an interesting little, if we wanted to go down a little wormhole on that one, about the lack of a need for respect for material things when you have replicators. You know,
It's true.
So that just, I mean, I
you
nothing to say, but you could.
You can just stick that back into the industrial replicator, and it'll absorb all the material and then make you a new TV.
Yeah.
Since the whole idea behind how the Star Trek economy works is that they have limitless energy, so the replicators can make whatever they want anytime they want. Including clay pots with Elcar's displays on them.
Yes.
My guess is that those are to like adjust the moisture and acidity and the soil and stuff, but I thought it was cool.
No, there's always got practical reason.
Well, geez, I mean, you can get stuff like that now. You can put a little, like, sensor in your potted plant, and it'll tell your phone when it needs water. So that's not too far off.
I don't want my plants to be smart.
Well, it's not your plants that's smart, it's the sensor. It's a moisture sensor. I mean, you know.
No,
but yes,
I get it.
I know what you mean.
But you have to be careful with this, because the next thing you know, you got a plant named Audrey, you got Little Shop of Horrors going on. It's a whole mess.
Yes, and that's not good at all.
No.
Also, whenever I see any of those smart home devices, because I'm mostly against them on principle, is that those are devices that are not getting updated much, so they're going to have security flaws, and at some point somebody's going to be mining Bitcoin on your potted plant water sensor.
That's true, but if you just believe in Starfleet, everything will be all right.
Oh, that's fine. True. Yeah. No.
But back to the 24th century, where I'm sure no one's hacking anyone's plants. See, and I did enjoy that that the other admiral asks Admiral Freeman, "Why do you even keep breakable things around?" That was
beautiful. Because that's somebody. Yeah. Like, that's somebody, that they've known Mariner since she was, this tall, and she's always been throwing things.
I imagine that Mariner came out of the womb throwing something at this point.
Oh, God.
Oh, probably.
That's what you could do with your umbilical cord.
She just comes out of the womb and throws a handful of placenta into the doctor's face.
Yep. There you go. There you go.
Now that I've thrown everything off track.
That's par for the course here on Infinite Diversity.
Definitely.
So we get the theme, which is updated a little bit for Season 3. Like last season, where they added the Pakled ships to the Borg-Romulan battle, we now have a crystalline entity.
Looming over the Borg ship.
Which, I mean, with each season, I'm more and more on with the Cerritos, with the sudden, get out of dodge.
Well, I figure if this goes on to like about season 7 or 8, there's not even going to be room to turn around for the Cerritos in that scene. It's just going to be so dominated with so many ships. It's going to be a big traffic accident. It's going to be a wreck on a wreck, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Well,
now,
I think we're going to need 13 seasons, though, because they're doing a movie, a spoof on a movie poster for each season, and we've got 13 Star Trek movies, and probably only ever 13 Star Trek movies.
Oh. don't be negative. Come on.
There might be discussion about that topic later.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we normally would have said that before the beginning of the show, but I was excited about talking about Star Trek Lower Decks. So,
Yeah, we know that.
but we'll get into that later.
One thing about this opening bit, I cannot remember if the crystalline entity was shown at Chicago. I don't think it was, because I think people would have been talking about it. But if anybody remembers...
I don't remember that. Did we actually... We did watch the theme, though, in Chicago.
Yeah, because Mike McMahon was like, everybody be quiet, and then you can cheer for the theme, because we all know what it sounds like, and then be quiet again. And yeah. But I can't imagine that...
No, I think it was the Season 2 credits.
Yeah.
Because they probably hadn't even finished designing the Season 3 credits at that point.
That might be.
So... Mariner's gonna go visit Boimler at his family's raisin vineyard.
Okay, I gotta say, I love this scene because it's Boimler, and what they did was about the most unexpected thing with Boimler you would ever think of happening.
All the women that want to get their hands on him, yeah.
And the fact that they do the Picard tease right out of the gate.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's a raisin vineyard.
And I love how he even gives that. He's even like, yeah, we couldn't do anything fun like wine. It's just dry raisins.
I mean, the vineyard part would be very similar, I would think. I mean, it's growing grapes either way. I assume, having never grown grapes for raisins or wine.
Yeah.
I guess there's probably less... there's probably less work involved in raisin vineyard because, like, with wine, I think, like, they have to grow certain grapes in certain ways to do certain things, and based on what Boimler was saying is they're just doing two types of raisins, white and red, so...
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking it's less messy, too, because you're not dealing with all the grape juice, because you're drying everything out.
Yeah. Okay, but it is different. Okay, see, because I was curious about this. There are separate vineyards for wine or juice grapes and raisin grapes because raisin grapes always have to be seedless.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that also means that they're not gonna.
But does that mean do they
self-repopulate?
grow raisin grapes and like the grapes you buy in the supermarket in the same vineyard? Because those are usually seedless too.
Maybe.
I imagine they wouldn't care if they're seedless for wine because they just strain that out with the rest of the pulp.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are other reasons to grow seedless grapes other than making raisins.
Oh yeah, of course.
If you go to the produce section in the grocery store, you're not normally going to find grapes with seeds in them.
I'm going to dispute you on that, but that's a different issue entirely. We're not going to debate.
It depends on how fancy your grocery store is.
Well, it depends on the season and what kind of grapes. There's some grapes that you can't get seedless. But the first...
Yeah.
The first reason for anyone...
Do you have seasonal grapes in your grocery store?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I assume all fruit is seasonal. I don't buy grapes much, so I'm going to stop talking about it now.
I mean, I know there are grapes with seeds in them that you can sometimes find, but generally speaking, at least in, like, the grocery store that I go to most of the time, there are red grapes, purple grapes, and white grapes. They are all seedless, and they're there year-round.
Okay. We have a fruit and meat market that we go to for that stuff, so it's not like a regular... It's not like a regular grocery store,
and if you're going
so maybe
to like
that's a
a
little
fancier
different.
grocery store, like your Whole Foods, your Wegmans, that sort of thing, you probably will find fancy, different grapes and some with seeds. But if you're going to a more
Walmart
downscale grocery store, I mean, I wasn't even thinking Walmart, but yes, that would also apply. Yes.
No, and I wasn't. Yeah.
I was just saying, what I do know is after watching this episode, I don't know if purposes of sanity and cleanliness, I don't know if I want anything that's coming from Boimler's vineyard, just because I don't know. I don't trust how it's been handled.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least like with wine, it's, it's got the alcohol content, it's fermented. If there's anything really funky in there, it's either not going to get sold or it's going to be taken out with the alcohol, so it's all good.
I think I've learned more about grapes in this episode than I ever planned.
Next on Infinite Diversity of Grapes.
The more you know.
So my whole life I had just figured that raisins come from the grapes that they didn't use for whatever, to send to the grocery store or to turn in, because that's cider apples are like that,
And that
like,
probably
these
is
ones are
how
bruised.
it is, because, mostly they do send those, but I don't know, maybe they're completely different kinds of grapes, and they have specific ones that they use just for raisins.
If any of our listeners run a raisin vineyard,
if you run a raisin vineyard, please let us know.
Yeah. Or even a non-raisin grape vineyard, and then let us know. Inquiring minds. Did you catch that they duplicated the scene where Picard punched his brother into the vines? That was meant to be duplicated.
That. Yeah, and that was just Mariner accidentally knocking Boimler into the vines, and she didn't even notice.
No.
That was the best part.
No. Can you imagine how mad all those young women are when he leaves with Mariner? I'm surprised she got out of there.
Bradward, I forgot how to get naked.
Yeah, pretty blunt.
No. What's kind of was weird about this though is I would, under normal circumstances, if Mariner wasn't so wrapped up with saving her mother, the lines and comments Mariner would have been throwing out during that whole scene would have been amazing.
That just goes to show you
what is going on. She would have had this incredulous "what is going on here" situation. Yeah,
it would have been beautiful.
I mean, who would have thought Brad Boimler, ladies?
Well, I mean, he would be if he noticed, but
he was too
Brad
concerned
Boimler
about his star.
Could be a ladies' man, but he
Brad
is
Boimler, potential ladies' man.
But he is oblivious to it all. And I can say there have definitely been times in my life when I have probably not quite as blatant as I forgot how to get naked, but definitely times in my life where I have completely and utterly missed signals like Brad Boimler.
Well, my question is it because they're trying to find out what his true hair color is?
Oh. That is an excellent point. I feel like Boimler is probably the kind of guy who dedicates this and dyes everything. Especially because they all shower in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
So he's either dyeing everything, or it's also possible he has no hair anywhere else on his body. That also seems like a Boimler thing.
I'm thinking that's probably more like the more likely scenario at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely a hair removal kind of guy.
That's true. But the quick question is, what is his natural hair color?
We don't know. I actually have that in my notes for the episode, is what color is Boimler's hair?
Jack Quaid's got, like, brunette, right?
Yeah. Jack Quaid's a brunette, but that doesn't mean that's what Boimler is.
Guys,
no, I know, but I'm just...
I'm leaning right now, Boimler is a ginger.
Maybe. He doesn't have freckles, though.
Or very early onset gray.
That's also possible. If it's white, it would be easy to dye it.
Yeah. Maybe he's the last of the Targaryens.
Crossing the streams.
So, Mariner and Boimler go to find Tendi and Rutherford because they think Rutherford can get them on the Cerritos. Mm-hmm. And they're at Cisco's Creole Kitchen, which, amazing. It looks exactly like it does on DS9. Complete with the alligator hanging from the ceiling.
Yep. Again, I didn't notice that. Sister's boyfriend noticed that.
Important question. Is it a chain at this point?
No, I don't think so. I think that... No, they say they're in New Orleans, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do not think Joseph Sisko would allow it to become a chain. It's not like Quarks where it could be franchised. I think Joseph Sisko would, say absolutely not to anyone who would suggest that. Assuming he's still alive at this point, which we don't know.
I could see Nog maybe talking him into licensing some Cisco's products for Quark's bars.
Right, but not the actual restaurant. But I just don't see him opening another restaurant. I don't think he would trust anyone else to do the cooking.
So we were talking about this after the episode. How does having a restaurant work on Earth in the 24th century?
How do any of the economics work?
No, none of it works. I know. Okay. But, like, we were talking about this, and do people, like, he gets fresh food, okay? Mm-hmm. He has his fresh meat, fresh seafood. Okay, so first of all, you have to find a niche of people in the 21st century who are actually going to eat real meat. Okay. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, there's a lot of vegetarian Creole dishes, but... And then, okay, they're going there to get something... Admittedly, his recipes are not going to be something that you're just going to get out of a replicator. Fine. Okay. They're much better. We've established that. So they're going basically for atmosphere, the experience of going to this restaurant.
It's like going to medieval times.
Right. And I think that's so cool. Well, yeah. It's such a cool idea. And so then you have to ask yourself, like, okay, then you can get into the economics of it, and there's no good answer for any of that, so we'll say we don't worry about that. But I just love the idea.
Because how do they decide who gets to eat there and who doesn't? Like, because, like, if it's popular enough, like, how do they... Yeah. Because no one's paying money, no one's...
Or are they? You know? How does he
Underground
get the goods...
Latinum.
Right. I mean, unless he's working in Latinum, which, I mean, then that throws everything out the window on Earth.
So, my thought that just occurred to me about things like the crawfish and things like that is, what if they're replicated crawfish? Like, he's not replicating the meals, but, like, he's creating replicated dead crustaceans.
He's replicating the required things for the recipe.
Right.
And I'm cool with that.
I very well maybe growing the vegetables. What I'm saying is...
who cares, yeah.
Because we've had, at least in early TNG, we hear definitively that they do not consume animals for food anymore in the Federation.
They don't enslave animals for food, is what Riker says.
Yeah.
So hunting, clear, wild caught, bunnykin, whatever the hell that was on Nepenthe. Bunnycorn.
Pike is out at the cabin, probably doing a little hunting.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, but where does Pike's beef come from? Because if they don't enslave animals for food, are there just bison roaming around?
Well, he's in Montana, so yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean... Yeah. Okay, so I love that idea because it adds one more element to who Joseph Sisko is, because he made his son and his grandson then shuck replicated oysters.
Yes.
We're going to go with that because I love that idea. And then, for all we know, the restaurant's got a wait list and people just go and enjoy it, and there's no money exchanged at all. It's just the experience.
So, yes, we have the Ketracel white hot sauce, which I love. And I love Boimler's reaction to it. And then, because he's reacting to the sauce when he's saying, how do we do this? And Mariner's just like, it's okay, don't cry, we can still do it.
Meanwhile, she's poured the entire bottle on her
he's like,
food.
This has a little kick.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so they're going to the secured transporter. I was half expecting the veteran transporter chief to end up being Miles O'Brien.
Everyone was.
Yeah.
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 And obviously, there was a bit of O'Brien in this guy. The chief insignia, certainly. The fact that he's wearing the classic DS9 uniform. He's a bit of a buffer buff. And he's reading a book about the life of Emery Erickson, who, as we know from Enterprise, was the inventor of the transporter.
Yep.
Which I thought was a nice little touch. And we see a bunch of different transporters, which is cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like how they make us think he's just a sweet old man, and then he turns around with the face just like, you wouldn't know anything about knocking me out to use my transporter, would you?
Yes. Yes.
Insinuating it's happened more than one time.
Yeah. So this led me to wonder if this is the kid in the transporter room with Uhura in search for Spock. Is this him all grown
Mr.
up?
Adventure.
Is this Mr. Adventure? Because we never got Mr. Adventure's name.
That's true.
And I could totally create a story like, he thought he wanted adventure. He thought he wanted, to get out and not be at this backwater transport station. And then he realized that's the absolute best place for him to be because Uhura locked him in the closet. And he doesn't want any more adventure than that.
I love that headcanon. So I am now going to say it is Mr. Adventure.
All right.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a fun or it's kind of like one of those things where, he got locked in the closet, so, or he might get punched the back end of Alaska. Instead, they just kept him as a transporter tech the whole time of his career.
For the next 100 years.
For the next 90 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then we get to my favorite part of the episode. They go to Bozeman, Montana, and it's turned into a theme park, and I love it.
Okay. If someone has not already started making plans to set up a little carnival in Bozeman that looks like that in 42 years, then there is something wrong with people. We have to have that.
Yeah, and we also, because we're gonna have a giant Star Trek convention there in 2063. We have to,
Oh my God, there's already people planning it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So here's the thing, though. It's like, okay, the first Vulcan ship, it's a playground now.
It would be illogical not to use it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what I want to know...
It's a replica.
What I want to know is, what's the pitch to James Cromwell to come back and voice Ephraim?
It's like, hey, James, we have some money for you.
That may be.
I mean,
James Cromwell has had several different Star Trek appearances. I doubt they had to twist his arm very much.
Yeah, but I mean, still just the pitch of, oh yeah, we're going to make you a Disney theme park ride for this one.
Yeah.
He probably thought it was hilarious.
Oh, I'm sure he did. And for something so easy, too, like he had to go into a recording booth for half an hour.
Yeah.
There's no, that's a win-win.
Yeah, it was great. I loved hearing his voice. I loved hearing the music from First Contact.
Oh, yes. That was perfectly done.
Yeah. They had the Enterprise-shaped balloons they were giving out.
There was Enterprise, there was a Delta Shield, there was a Defiant, there was a Star, and there were normal balloon-shaped balloons. Yeah.
They had one of those test your strength with the hammer thing, and it was the Phoenix launching.
Yes. And
Tendi and Rutherford get the hats that Zephyr Cochrane wears.
And there were a bunch of people wearing those, and the sweaters, and yep. It was good.
Oh, yeah. Rutherford is wearing a Jake Sisko sweater this whole episode. It's amazing. I really like when they're talking about, are we dressed appropriately to go to a courtroom? He's like, my shirt could be more asymmetrical.
And just the aspect of it's that easy to steal an amusement park ride.
Yeah. Well, I mean... when you have a, cybernetically augmented engineer on with you, yes.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
There is that. But also, I mean, it's not like they have an actual person probably running it. It's a hologram or, a computer system.
If you think about it, in this period, normally, what's the motive for stealing an amusement park ride? You can always just get your own shuttle and do it. You don't... You
post-scarcity economy.
Need to, yeah.
But the important fact is now the world truly knows the dangers of the single rider.
Oh my God, that was beautiful. I just
as someone who has definitely been to Disney World and been the single rider. Yes, that was funny.
Yeah. No, that was classic. They played that off very well.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And he looked kind of like the
Looked like the kid from Adventure Time, I thought.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Or Steven Universe, or Steven Universe maybe is what.
Okay. Yeah, because Adventure Time's the
yeah.
this
I think
dog.
it's Steven Universe is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. The hair reminded me of the guy that plugged himself into the computer, and because he thought it would make him smarter. I mean, it's not the same guy, but it just made me.
No, it did look like the same hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget that guy's name.
He was kind of forgettable. Which I suppose was the point.
Yes.
I liked the historical Bozeman thing, too, because from the... visiting historical sites is never about history anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's not. If you go to historical Williamsburg, if you go to... Like, unless it's a battlefield that people are very particular about maintaining as a solemn place, they're all carnivals. That's all it is.
Yeah. Can we just point out the fact, too, that Tindy, who was on Earth the entire time for Starfleet Academy, didn't do anything on Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can just beam wherever they want to go on Earth at any time, and she still couldn't leave, never left San Francisco because she was too busy with her studies.
I get that. I did my undergrad in Wyoming, and I never did get up to Yellowstone or Grand Teton. I only went to Denver twice. You know,
that's not even in Wyoming.
No, but it's only 2 hours from Laramie.
Yeah, but
so
right.
It's
You have transporters. These are like instantaneous.
Okay, well, fine. I didn't have transport, but I understand having a single-mindedness and not, thinking about that type of thing.
So they hijack the Phoenix. They fly it up to the Cerritos. Captain Gavin goes away on his newly commandeered ship.
It's beautiful. It would be even better if we see him later, like next season, and he's like just a random cadet. He's completely changed his life because of this.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. What they should have done is they should never showed at the end that they found him. And he should show up just randomly, like during episodes for the rest of the season.
That would be funny. Or you just see it in the background, the ship flying radically.
Or he could have like hooked up with Peanut Hamper.
Yeah, there you go.
Like Peanut Hamper could have found him and
that's true. Peanut Hamper's still floating in space.
Yeah.
There was a story. There was more story to be there. That's all I'm saying.
I like that. All right, that's my headcanon now. We're going to forget that part.
With the Cerritos in dry dock, it's in the spot for this to happen. You'd think they would have started putting the hull plates back on.
Yeah.
Well, can I comment on the lack of security in dry dock, by the way?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're all at a party figuring out small talk. It's fine. It's fine. They're just doing that.
That's a deep cut reference. Nice.
Thank you.
But I do love it as they're pulling out and they look up, hey, the Cerritos is moving. Click.
I like that he was playing 3D chess on the screen, and it was in like the Elcar's colors.
I was disappointed that we didn't get the line, how do you get a red alert in space dock, or why is somebody stealing the Cerritos or something, but
right.
I suppose they can only mirror it so much.
Really? The Cerritos? You couldn't have done better than the Cerritos?
Well, that's true. We don't know how long they've been back, the entire ship itself. It's possible, because we know Freeman got taken off the ship. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine...
that's true. Freeman could have been on Earth longer than they had been in... Okay.
Right, and they probably had to be towed back.
They definitely would have been.
Yeah, so it's possible. Because
they couldn't go to warp.
Yeah, so it's possible that they pulled everybody but a skeleton crew off of it, brought everybody back, and then the Cerritos gets there a month later.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
Just, to fill the headcanon.
And of course, Mariner sends In true Star Trek 3 fashion, Mariner tries to send the other crew away, and they're having none of it.
Gotta admire the lower deck's loyalty.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It does. I mean, they're not gonna leave her behind.
No. And they end up in the middle of the Verrugaments migration past Earth, which turns into an orgy on the hull, or the lack of hull.
Now the question is, did I miss it, or did they say that the lack of hull is maybe what attracted them to the ship?
Yeah, they did. They said it was the carbon in the in the plating. Yeah.
So how much more damage is going to have to be repaired after? Are they eating the carbon in the plating? I mean,
that's
or is
what
it
I'm
just
assuming,
an aphrodisiac?
Yeah. They said they were absorbing it, so I think
They were
eating away at it.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is it was basically Viagra for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how immediately, rather than just talking about immediately, rather than just saying, oh, they're it's a swarm, it's mating behavior. Mariner just goes, it's an orgy.
Yeah.
Can we discuss the fact that Boimler at this point can probably write a novel about being in the inside of different creatures in the Star Trek universe?
But yes, that's true.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, with a little addendum from Tendi from the when she got swallowed in by that one thing.
I can see it now. Yes, I've been there by Brad Boimler.
Ensign Brad Boimler.
No. Future Captain Brad Boimler.
Oh, yes. Perfect. You know what we need? Just a little Easter egg in Discovery with a ship named Boimler.
Yes.
And then never find out why. Just leave it there.
Yeah. The USS Boimler. I love it. Mm-hmm. We don't even know which Boimler it's named for. Yeah.
Oh, even better. Hadn't thought of that.
Or even something in the historical record. Just this historical record by First Officer Boimler.
Yes. I like that. All right. Well, we know that the people at Paramount listen, so just do something about this, people.
Yeah. No, but I think it should be coming. They could even almost make it a running joke in Star Trek things where there's different recordings from Boimler that they reference, but he's never Captain Boimler. He's always a different rank, but he's never a Captain Boimler.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that needs to happen. Okay, that's in my headcanon too.
So, of course, the Starfleet security boards, and they have to show that they're helping the Verrugament mate. Mm-hmm. And we get saved by the bell because, turns out, all off-screen, Captain Freeman has been exonerated. Mm-hmm. And we get a great slideshow of things that have how this was resolved. I never expected, when Lower Decks was announced, that we would see Captain Morgan Bateson.
Oh my god. No kidding.
It would have been even better if they had, managed to get Kelsey Grammer to like say a line. That would have been hilarious, but of course they probably didn't have that kind of money.
I don't know if he's as I don't know if he's as expensive
he's
as
probably
he was
less
in the
willing
90s.
than James Cromwell. Yeah.
But then again, they didn't get Tim Russ to do anything either, so maybe there was that would have added too much to the story or something.
But seeing Tuvok was great.
Yes.
Completely unexpected.
I love the hero shot of them all walking out of the courthouse.
I just love the fact that it all cycles back to what Mariner's father was telling her: just believe in Starfleet, and she refuses to do it because she's so paranoid of Starfleet. And then here it wraps up. Gosh, I should have just believed in Starfleet.
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it now?
But again, I think that's the brilliance of Lower Decks, and with these characters is they're so dedicated to Starfleet, but even more, at least the three of them are, but they're so more dedicated to each other that even though they're even telling her, you just need to believe in Starfleet, but they're so dedicated to each other and helping each other, they put that aside to help each other. And
Yep.
again, that's that underlying thing that's going on in Lower Decks right now with these characters, and that's one of the things I really love about this show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I love most things about Lower Decks, but yes, I very much enjoy that. And we're at the end of the episode. We're all ready to go off on adventures, but first we find out that Mariner is now on like double ultra secret probation, and Ransom is the one that gets to decide if she gets to stay or go.
Yeah, this is going to set up some fun things for the season. But I love this scene because I love seeing that family dynamic. That's the first time we've seen the three of them together. Period.
It is,
and what I love is the fact that they both admit, we've just kind of pawned her off or protected her or let her do her own thing for so long, and now so we got to distance ourselves from this. And I love it as soon as they start even mentioning that she already knows where it's going, and she's like, "No, absolutely not, no." You can see the panic setting in. But obviously, when you look back and some of the stuff between Ransom and Mariner in season 2, this makes sense. And this is, it was definitely, there's some foreshadowing there that we're going to have more things between Ransom and Mariner. And I'm happy because it's going to get Jerry O'Connell a lot more to do on the show, too. And I think he is phenomenal as Jack Ransom. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with that. I think I think we're going to get to see a little bit more of his character be developed, which I'm very much for.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, Ransom's great. Now that Mariner is, on thin ice, shall we say, and we now know that she can face consequences, which has kind of been a thing throughout this whole show, that Mariner doesn't really face consequences. Does this make Mariner a more sympathetic character?
I don't know about more sympathetic, but he makes her more intriguing because now she knows she can't just do what she always has done. And now she's going to have, I'm sure early on it's going to be a lot of conflict between those things, but yeah, she can't approach things like she always has. And knowing that, like I said, I don't know if it's sympathetic because I think they kind of made her a little more sympathetic last season. I think we kind of saw some different sides of Mariner there. I think it makes her more intriguing because now we're going to have to see her try to do things in a bit of a different way and to see how she gets around the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is she going to stop being so, like, she has a rough edge and she can be very mean and in a way that doesn't feel like it's just teasing amongst friends. And I think they're starting to take that off, and I think this is going to help that.
I think it's going to help it, but I think you'd also see it where it intensifies it a little bit because she takes her frustrations out on Boimler. True.
Everything she wants to say to Ransom is going to fall on Boimler's head.
We'll see what happens here. I think we're off for an interesting dynamic for the whole season.
Well, very much so. And I the other thing I'm hoping for too, just as a hanging plot line from last season, I want to know more what's going on with Rutherford.
Oh yes, that's right. Because I had forgotten until I rewatched season 2 about how we had all these little clues about, I don't know, like the X-Files syndicate kidnapped him and put that thing in his head. So yeah,
I'm hoping we get a little bit more of that this season too.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I think we'll get some backstory for everybody this season. I mean, that's been the standard the last couple seasons. We've gotten a little bit for everybody. So I think they'll probably keep doing that. I hope. Because we want to see some character development and just keep giving us the same funny episodes. And I think we're off to a good start.
I agree.
Yeah. They've found their footing with this now. Just run with it. And we can just soak it up and enjoy it.
Absolutely. All right. Anybody have any other thoughts about this episode that you want to share?
I just think for me, one of the things that makes this episode so strong is I really truly feel like this is the season where they're going to completely they've really hit their stride and they've got comfortable with the show because if you go back and watch season 1, it didn't feel till about halfway through the season that they found the balance between telling a Rick and Morty story versus telling a Star Trek story. And they kind of found that balance in season 1. Season 2 was just kind of, okay, we've got this thing, let's see where we can push it, kind of find our place. I really think they're in their groove completely now, and it really felt that way with this episode. So I'm really looking forward to what they pull off this season.
Same. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. They have done a nice job of threading enough of stories through here that we can actually get proper character development, but keeping the episodic nature of it. It's just beautiful. I need more.
Give me more Star Trek Lower Decks.
That's been our final thoughts every week. And just keep going. That's fine. Just give me more of whatever the Trek is.
Considering that they probably are going to need to give us more Lower Decks because there might not be any Trek movies in the near future.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
Oh, that's right.
So I think we've joked on this podcast a few times that the fourth Kelvin movie is probably never going to happen. Well, it's pretty much a done deal, at least that the most recent supposed iteration of it that was coming is probably not happening. The director, I'm not sure how many directors they have announced for this movie at this point, but the most recent director announced for it, Matt Shakman, has stepped down to direct a Marvel movie instead. So, and based on the fact that the actors have said there was nothing signed yet, I think we can say for sure they are not going to be releasing a new Kelvin movie next year.
And Matt Shakman didn't step down for just any Marvel movie. He stepped down to do fantastic. From what everything, not confirmed yet, but I suspect by the end of D23 or in about 2 weeks, it will be. He's going to direct Fantastic Four. So that's a pretty big deal. And he's actually, everybody forgets he actually has some experience in the Marvel Universe because he also directed WandaVision for Disney Plus.
Yes.
And what's interesting, though, when I looked at his IMDb, because one of the other shows we do on the Fandom Podcast Network is a Marvel show, and we talked about this particular news. He's also slated to be part of the TV show that for Apple Plus that is based off the Godzilla Kong universe that has been developed. And
nice.
The show is called Monarch, and he's scheduled to direct, if not more than 2 episodes, at least 2 episodes of that. So he's part of the team for that. So, and that's not that far off around the corner too. So I wonder if he's going to actually have to back off of that too by doing Fantastic Four. But then again, it's with all these projects anymore, they announce stuff, and other than we know for the fact Fantastic Four is part of a future MCU phase that's been announced. Yeah, I don't. Things aren't looking good for a 4 Star Trek film, at least in the Kelvin timeline.
I think we've more or less covered everything for Lower Decks this week. So, Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. Where can listeners find you online, and what current and upcoming work do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. It's been a lot of fun talking the season premiere of Lower Decks. It's been great as we've kind of become mutual federation partners here between the Fandom Podcast Network and the BQN. And it's been a joy. I know a couple of you guys have come on Union Federation, and Union Federation will be diving itself into Lower Decks here after episode 2. We're going to do a couple episodes at a time for our shows. I know we're all very excited to talk about that. Of course, over at the Fandom Podcast Network, we got a ton going on. We've got our True Believers show covering all things MCU. So we're talking a lot of She-Hulk right now. We've got our Couch Potato Theater show, which takes a movie and we just dive deep into it. Usually it's one of those kind of movies, you know, you may own that Blu-ray, you may own it digitally, but if it pops on cable, you're still stopping and watching it anyway. So that's kind of what that is. And the other big thing we've got going on right now is our Time Warp show, where we take a year and dive into all those movies of that year. We do it over like a 6-part segment and kind of cover a couple of months of each films. Right now we're doing the year of 1982, and our most recent episode, which will be coming out soon, will be covering things such as Conan the Barbarian and E.T.
Nice.
And you'll get to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan eventually.
Oh, in this episode we were talked about Wrath of Khan. We had some interesting takes about that and some thoughts about some other Star Trek movies, and maybe where Wrath of Khan might not be the best Star Trek film.
Oh, I agree. Actually,
yeah.
Undiscovered Country is my favorite.
Yeah, but it gets brought up quite a bit. So
I like Wrath of Khan. Don't get me wrong. I'm actually going to see it in the theater next weekend.
That's right. That is next weekend. Yeah.
But Undiscovered Country is my favorite of the Star Trek films.
Yeah. And, of course, just real quick, too, if you want to find the Fandom Podcast Network, because you guys put all good things in Galaxy Class also get shared on the Fandom Podcast Network, as you guys are so kind to put our Union Federation show covering all things Star Trek in the Orville there. But you can find the Fandom Podcast Network on our master page and our master feed at fpnet.podbean.com. We have a YouTube channel, too. Just search for Fandom Podcast Network. And we're on all the major podcast catchers, such as iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We're everywhere. I edit too many shows.
Indeed. Oh, don't we all?
Indeed. I mean, I guess there are some podcasters who are only on one podcast, but most that I know are not.
Yeah.
I think it's a required rule after your 6-month trial basis, you must immediately go up to like 5 different podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Well, it feels like once you start one, you're like, well, I've got the equipment. I've put the money into it. I've put the time. I might as well, And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Well, speaking of other podcasts, Chrissy, where can people find you when you're not facilitating a space orgy?
In addition to here on Infinite Diversity, you can find me on History with the Szilagys here on BQN, and that's a twice-weekly short podcast about historical events that I do with my fellow historian partner, Jason. Also happy to chat about our shows in the BQN Collective on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter at The Goddess Livia, that's TheGoddessLivia, where I tweet about Star Trek history, leftist politics, and would be happy to hear about people's opinions on how raisins are produced.
That's going to become a new podcast on the BQN, isn't it?
Oh, my God.
At least a miniseries, at least a 4-part miniseries.
Yeah.
Mark should do that for It's Green. He should talk about raisins.
Yes. Yes, and then we can pull in Amy's math moment with, like, percentages of types of sugar and get some, like, chemistry in there and stuff. All right, we got to tell them about that. But in the meantime, Thad, where can people find you when you're not deciding which highly asymmetrical shirt to wear with your Zephram Cochrane hat?
Well, best place to find me is on Twitter, at Tyrannicus, that's Tyranicus, where I talk about a lot of things, mostly Star Trek. I'm still doing my alphabetical rewatch of Star Trek because I am insane. But
in a fun
through
way.
The letter D at this point. I think the most recent episode I watched was Voyager's Deadlock.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, it was right after Enterprise's Dead Stop, which is also a really good one. Like, I think that's a contender for the best 2 episodes back-to-back, I think. But you can also hear me on License to Spiel. That's License spelled with a C like the British do, with my friend Carl, where we talk about the James Bond films. Our most recent episode was about Spectre. So we're rapidly coming to the end of the James Bond films, but you may continue to hear us, and you can find out more if you listen to the License to Spiel.
Ooh, nice little blurb there, little plug.
I'll just interject. Casino Royale, my favorite modern Bond film.
Favorite modern Bond? Yeah, it's pretty close to my favorite Bond of all time, honestly. It's really good.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. My favorite Bond is... Oh, well, Julian Bashir, obviously.
Well, sure.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, what else is there, right?
I'm still waiting for my James Callis James Bond, so,
You who, James Bond?
James Callis is James Bond.
Yeah, especially after his appearance on Picard this past season. Felt like he could... He feels like he could play a Bond.
Maybe.
Or a good Bond villain. Maybe he's more of a Bond villain.
I think he'd be a good Bond villain, yeah. I think David Ajala would be a good James Bond.
Oh, I'm all in on that. I've been on that since his first appearance on Discovery. I'm like, get this man a 00 right now.
Yes. Oh, and they could play that. They could spin it around and have Bond have the cat instead of the villain.
Yeah, there we go.
If you want to have a little Star Trek tie-in. All right, well, don't forget all of our other great shows here on BQN, which surprisingly do not include talking about the Bond movies. Maybe we can pull your show over here. Apparently we're lacking on that. But, other shows like Galaxy Class, All Good Things, Mickey's Marvels, Union Federation, of course, and, of course, History with the Szilagyi that I mentioned earlier, and exclusive to our Patreon members, there's Mark White's It's Green and Amy's Math Moment, which are pretty fun.
Previously on BQN. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast.
They're feeling bad and they try to self-medicate to feel better, and that's why mental health, for example, is so important to help people cope with things so they don't turn to drugs to cope on their own. Mm-hmm. There's my Nancy Reagan moment.
There you go. See, we were raised in the DARE program.
Yeah.
Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast.
I love that Pike cooks with cast iron because I truly could not imagine him using any other kind of pans.
I didn't even notice that.
It's just that's a very in character thing for him to cook on, like this, seasoned cast iron. It's probably like 300 years old, and I'm sure, yeah.
Galaxy Class, a Star Trek The Next Generation podcast.
But the biggest reason, of course, being that, Worf is undiscompensated. So his, obviously, redemption.
How would we say that?
Commendated?
Or commendated, yeah. If he was discommendated, then decommendated.
Commendated? I accommodated.
Accommodated.
There we go.
You will find these and more of your favorite podcasts on BQN.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music and Tony Robinson for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well.
And if you'd like to reach out, you can find the network on Twitter at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. When you next hear from us, we'll be talking about the next episode of Lower Decks, The Least Dangerous Game. Until then, we wish you peace and long life. Yeah, he's definitely a hair removal kind of guy.
Yeah, that's probably true.
He's got a special transporter setting for that.
With the phasers, with the cleaning phasers. That's how you shave.
Oh, I want one of those. That would be great. His secret log is saying that he can't let anyone know his real hair color, so he's certainly not walking around with natural pubes. Whether or not he has pubes of purple pubes or no pubes, we will probably never find out, and I'm okay with that. But it's going to be one of those two. It can't be natural.